but we're just going to go through some drawing exercises. Just going to go to my camera at the top there. So, first off, right, we are going to do a continuous line drawing. So choose one of the shells, whichever one you want to do. I'm going to put this one up here. If you want to do this, let's go here. So I think that one's on your, yes, it is. It's on your sheet. That one is looking down into that, probably the other way around, maybe. Okay, so a continuous line is where you don't take your pencil off the paper and you're going to be looking at your shell. There's a little piece of paper under that. Completely unprepared. Here we go. And then you can maybe see it a bit better. There we go. That's better to see. So the idea is that you're looking at your shell. If you've got it, pop it in front of you and that. And you are going to keep your pencil on the paper and it's just going to be a continuous line. So move round. So don't worry if you feel like might be going a bit too big, a bit too small. Just try and work out. So there's some really nice sort of shapes that you might want to try and get. Oh, I've already gone a bit small, so I'm going to enlarge that bit there. There we go. There's like a little curve that gets bigger here along the bottom. Then gonna go here and I'm gonna go all the way down onto this picture here. I'm trying to look at like where things are in relation to each other ish, if I can. No, where does it go this side? So this side really bulges out here. Well, it comes down quite small like that, I think. Yeah. Okay. So I'm also going to come in and put my shadow in here. And then I've got a little bit there. That's why it's not quite the right shape. There we go. And then I'm going to come down and I'm going to put my shadow in here. So if you want to, you can continue. I can't really see very much, but I suppose I can see the like pattern on here. Got a feeling that if I start drawing the pattern on, I'm just going to start making it up rather than looking at it properly, but you can add your pattern on a little bit if you want to. This is a really nice exercise, first off, just to not worry about. I mean, obviously, you want to know what something looks like. I don't mean, completely ignore what it looks like and just draw any old rubbish. You're welcome to if you want to. But um, it's just a way where, because you're doing this continuous line, your eye has to keep going round and round the object over and over again. So it's a really good way to kind of observe what's going on with your object as a kind of warm up. I'm actually pressing like harder and lighter on here as well, where I want to move. So it's a really good way to kind of just warm up your drawing and your eyes. Let's get over here somewhere. There's a blob there. So that you can then come back and have a kind of a better draw of it now that you know you've really looked at it. Shadow there. And then I'm gonna use my, what am I doing? Oh, Didn't even look properly there. There's the shadow in there. Ooh. And then I'm going to come up to this one here and try and fill this one in. Go over that a couple of times. There we go. There. Whew. So don't panic if it doesn't really look exactly the same shape. What you want to do is you want to notice where you've maybe gone off a bit. So I don't mind this shape here, but what I've done is I sort of straighten this up a little bit, and I think it should be a little bit more pointing this direction, this little point, and it needs to go smaller. I think what I've done is I've worked this size and then I've realized I'm going to crash into this sketch, and then I've sort of made the bottom smaller.
Mm.
If you've got something like, sorry, I keep trying to point over to the handout that I've pulled up on the side. If you've got something like this shell, maybe you might be thinking about how you're going to go up and down to create these textures, and like what sort of curve, and where it goes almost straight here and then it starts to curve out again this way. So you might want to think about something like that. Uh, Maybe you followed one on the handout, which is a little shell that's all worn away and it's just a little circle. In which case, do another one. That's cheating. Okay, next one. Swap your pencil or your pen if you're working in a pen. Swap it. Oh, maybe I'll work in a pen. And then you can see. Swap your drawing material over into your non-dominant hand.
Ah. Oh dear. It'll be
So,
tricky.
you can go with the same thing if you want to, or you could go with, something a bit different. Okay, so you don't have to you don't have to do a continuous line. You can lift off and go back. I find personally it a lot harder if I lift off. I can't get back to the right place. So I like another continuous line again to go for this so that I know where I am. So just work your way around again, really thinking about where you're going. Now, one thing you might find is that you actually look at your shell a lot less than you did the first time, because what you're really doing is you're concentrating. I can't even talk. You're concentrating on your hand movement more than anything else. So that's okay if that's what you're doing. Mhm. Right. But make sure you know that you are looking at your shell occasionally, trying to. Sorry. Yeah, there we go. We've lost our iPad person. Oh look, I've took my hand off now. Put it back on. There we go. Okay, there we go. Sure. How many have I done? Okay, this is my big one now.
Mm.
Bit on the side here to get on. Too far out. Too far out. I can't see to get back. There we go. Whew, whew, whew. There's something here. And then I can see now that I haven't made this bit big enough up in the middle here.
Mm.
I am really right hand dominant. I really struggle with my left hand. It's I like the sort of marks that I make. You know, I could never do anything as random as this with my right hand at all. But yeah, I'm not great at being particularly precise this way. Okay. I wanna put a shadow on there. Not really. I'm just gonna put that there. Oh, that'll do me, I think. Phew. Okay. So definitely here, when I came out at the side here to come down, I just couldn't control my hand enough, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and I tried to pull it in. So I've managed to tilt it over a bit, but yeah, I'm too like bulged out in the middle. So this exercise is to get you to think about how you're holding your hand, how you're creating your marks. Um, that actually, when you're using your dominant hand, we look at observing, but we actually don't think about mark making very much. Whereas now we're thinking a lot about our hand, and we've just, you know, well, for me, I'm hardly looking at the shell at all. I was just like, what am I doing? What am I doing? So we need a combination of the two, really, when we're drawing, because we want to actually think about the mark we're making and how we're moving our sort of medium around the paper. Um, but we also need to be observing. Okay, so you're going to take one drawing thing in one hand and one in the other. So it could be two pencils. So you don't feel you have to go for pens and things. I'm going to just move the shell a bit more up into the corner here so I don't knock it over as I go. Okay, so the idea is that you are going to draw simultaneously. Right. So you can start like one at the bottom, one at the top. I'm not sure I can start like that though. Let's just move it over a little bit more. Sorry, there it is. So I don't knock into it. So I'm going to start both at the top here and see if I can work along. So you don't have to join things like exactly in the middle. Oh no, I was trying to be too smart there. I've gone too far out. Okay, where am I going now? Yeah, this is going to come out here. This is going to come here. Ugh.
I'm using a red and a black pen, and when the black one makes the red one, it just makes the red one then look black.
Oh, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Right, let's see. Let me swap sides over now, and then I'll add a bit of detail on. Definitely some shading in here. Ah. I can't really do two different marks with each hand. They both have to do a very similar sort of mark.
It's really hard to do them both at the same time.
Oh, look, I haven't even looked properly, have I? I've got a little thing up here. So, yeah. Yeah, I think if this had been the line, I'd have been happier if that had been the line, but rather than the second go at it. But so it should prompt us to think about if we are not concentrating on what we're doing and we're being distracted by, oh, what's that over there? What's happening? We're drawing down the right hand side of our shell, but we're actually thinking, oh, look at that texture on the left hand. What's happening is our brain isn't concentrating on what we're trying to draw. But I think we probably could have answered that ourselves without. But again, it's a good fun warm up to get you to look at what you're doing and think about the shapes you're making. All right. I'm gonna swap across to my other side now. Okay. Zoom out a little bit. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few different things out, different shells out. There. And you can start on whatever shell you want to. And what we're going to do is we're just going to draw one after the other after the other. So we're going to try and join them all together. So again, you can lift your pencil up if you want to, not a problem. But again, we're going to kind of try for a bit of a continuous shape. And once you've got one drawn, you're then going to draw the next one straight off it. Let me show you. So once I've got this one drawn in, I'm going to come and then I'm going to start the next one. So we're not going to have... Where am I going? Come on, concentrate. So a lot harder because this one that I'm trying to draw here is downwards, but now I've started to draw sideways. So I'm having to kind of reinterpret the shapes that I'm looking at. Oh, there we go. That's a bit better onto it.
So you're not doing both hands now?
No, I'm just doing one hand. You're welcome to do both hands if you want to, Andy, but no, you can stop both
I do
hands.
drumming. I've been a drummer all of my life, you know, not both hands. I started to try free form with it, but
yeah.
I don't know, you know, I just wondered if it helps.
Yeah, maybe.
It's fast alternate thinking drumming. Normally you do together. I know. Anyway, who knows what will come out?
Who knows? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I want to do this one next, coming off the side tip, but I'm going to come down here because I think I'm going to get too confused if I do it upside down. So I'm going to try for this shape, which is nice. And then I've got to look at this shapes on here. Oh, no. Okay, there. And I look at this quite carefully that I'm not actually distorting this out too much. Yeah, there we go. Nice little curve there. And then they're all curving this way, maybe. Oh, something. And then like this. And then I'm going to put this spiral one on down the bottom. Oh. No, come on. Try harder. There we go. So when we're not actually drawing things the way that we're observing them, see, I've cheated here. I couldn't even get it right, and I still am doing it pretty much the same as I'm observing it. If you're not drawing it exactly the way you're observing it, and you're having to almost like make it up, fill in what you think how it should be, you can see how your drawing goes a little bit awry. You have to really slow down and take your time drawing what's there. Okay, so we've got our continuous line sketch that we did. Then we've got our left or our non-dominant hand sketch that we did. Then we've got our two-handed monstrosity that we got.
Two-handed mess.
And then we've got our like continuous link in one form to another form to another form. So for our last one, I'll put it at the top, I think. Get at the top here. Cover these over, make a bit of space. It's up to you if you want to choose what you want to choose to do. Something a bit different. I'm going to put a few up. I'm going to do this one here. So it's up to you whether you want to. Maybe I'll use some pens, felt tip pens. So let's see what I've got. Hello, grey. I've got pink, yellow, grey, brown, and a bit of blue. So we are just going to sketch our shell. And now we've had all of these practices at our shell, we can just sketch it. I think I've got a piece of black pencil under there. I'm just going to go for it. Let's go for it. Okay, so you can do it how, if you want to do it with your right hand, you can do. You don't need to, with your left hand, I mean, you can do. I should keep remembering to say non-dominant hand. Not everybody is.
No, I'm left-handed.
Yeah.
Not that it
Yeah.
helps drawing with the left hand.
Hi. So I'm just trying to get the sort of the shape down first of what I've got. So I've probably gone a bit wide here, but we'll go anyway. There we go. So I'm going to look at the lights and darks. So I think with my yellow, I'm going to mark in all of my light areas that I kind of want to keep. But again, you could work with you know, just your pencil, putting your tones in, or you could work with a coloured pencil if you wanted to. Okay. So then I've got my grey. So I'm going to use this to kind of put some of my mid-tones in. So some areas like here and here, it's actually, some of it is the colour of the shell as well. Oh, crikey, that's dark, isn't it? Should have maybe gone with my blue. Just tested that first. Let's do this in here. Yeah.
It is actually handy both hands if you want to do two colours at once.
Mm.
That dropping and changing.
Got a dark line here. So, right, do that. Right, or brown as well. Come in with a bit of brown over it. I'm kind of trying to pick up a little bit of the texture as well. I've gone too big here. And see what a little bit of the texture of the shell there. It's in there. And then I've got blue. Put some shadows in. No. Shadow here. Really shadow here. And down the front. I think it's because I've got my light right over the top, so yeah. To look in here, I've just made up a random shape to fit in there, and it's not the shape area. It is at all. That's it. Oh. Yeah. Back to my yellow. Just put some more of those highlights in, those lighter areas. And then back to my pink, which done. My grey was way too dark. Look at that colour. That's what I was expecting. A nice light grey. My grey was a bit too dark there, but that's okay. A bit more fun. So although I've tried to use my colours to depict, you know, different tones, lighter, mid-tones, dark tones, the shadows and that, I haven't chose my colours specifically to match my shell at all. I've got quite a crazy shell. You know, you can, if you want to, if you've got like coloured pencils, you could choose those to match if you wanted to. But as long as you're being true to, you know, whatever color you choose for your shadows is your shadow color, and you just put that in. So like if I'd have used yellow for my shadows, and I'd have put those in as close as possible, and then I'd have chose, you know, the pink for you know, my darker tones, and I'd have put those in accurately, it should still look like a 3D object. It should still work out right. I'll go for another one here. Let's do this one up here.
You think it would work out like right, even if you use the light colours for the
Yeah, it
shadows?
should do. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It should look 3D. But yeah, because your brain will still read it. Oh, okay, yeah, there's like a shadow there, that casts a shadow there, there's a shadow here, and your brain will still read it, but it will look a bit like, oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yes, that's interesting.
Not sure I've quite got enough space in here. Not even looking at that properly, am I? There we go. Oh, look at that. That's all too wobbly. Okay, so I go with, right, I'm going to go with my dark grey then for my lights around here. And here. A bit harder on this one because it's got the pattern on it as well. So then a bit in here. Oh, look, see, that's my own fault. I'm not doing the lights now. I'm doing the darks with my pen. Come on, concentrate, Trish. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Lights, lights, lights. Light. 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 There. Right. Okay. Then let's go with my pink. Yeah, and do darks in here. Make the darker. Very dark. I've lost it a little bit down there at the end here, but yeah, you still get a bit of a sense of form. It's my own fault because I went wrong here. I stopped thinking about what I was actually doing and did the opposite. So,
Yeah.
whole page of all sorts of different ones. These two here in the middle, I did do those the other day. So there, but yeah. So I have my. Where am I working back to front? So this is my continuous line here with my dominant hand. This is with my non-dominant hand, which I tried to do continuous just so I didn't get lost. This down here is two-handed, one pen in each hand. Duster. Then this was just continuing. I did the continuous with my dominant hand, but I tried to link everything together. So I've pushed all those shells, although they were spaced apart. I then, once I'd finished one, I just then went on to continue to draw the next one. And then where it is here is the just pen, just using different colors to represent different tones. I think possibly this one's worked a bit better. I spent a bit longer on that one.